Well, aloha from Oahu. I don't know who will be able to join me. I very much wanted to post an announcement on Facebook that I was going live, but we've been driving for most of the day and I still don't have my phone, and I'm relying on my husband's iPhone for access to the internet, and I don't have immediate access to all my social media. So in any case, I'm very fortunate at least to be able to live stream. Hey Lita, you're the first to say hi. Aloha. Aloha, as we say hello here in Hawaii. Aloha is hello and goodbye. I'm doing all right, Lita. I hope you're doing fine too. So I don't know if you want to take a guess where I am. I'll tell you first of all that I am no longer on the Big Island. I am on Oahu, and Oahu has the capital. Does anyone know the capital? Hey, hello to you guys. Thanks for joining me. Aloha from Hawaii. I'm on Oahu, and the capital of Hawaii is Honolulu. So that's where we flew. We flew from Kona on the Big Island to, where do we go? Honolulu. And boy, first of all, it was a very short flight. Hey, Adriano, Elena, good to see you guys. Aloha, how are you doing? So it was a very short flight, and then we flew in. And I'll tell you, it's kind of like culture shock flying from island to island. Hey, Darwin. Hey, Sally. Because we went from the Big Island where it's peaceful and there's only 2-lane roads, and it's very, the population is so small that it just feels so peaceful and quiet. Then you fly into Honolulu and it's like, whoa, you're in a major US city again. Hey, Andre. I mean, there's like highways and ramps and tall buildings. They're like, you forget how different it can be from island to island. But even on Oahu, of course, there are less populated areas. But boy, around Honolulu, there are a lot of people. Hey guys, aloha to you from Oahu. So we are staying close to Honolulu, near the Waikiki beach. Waikiki is a famous beach. It is also very touristy. There's a good adjective. Touristy. So when we say touristy, it means there are lots of tourists, and there are lots of restaurants and shops. So it's exciting, but it's a big contrast when you compare what we had in the Big Island and now. And of course, my kids are also feeling the difference, hey Jose, between a 4-star resort and a 3-star hotel. For example, we went from having double sinks to a single sink. We went from having this beautiful balcony with the ocean view to having just this balcony of Honolulu, like we're in Waikiki. And with just lots of high rises, it feels very urban and even industrial. Hey Juan, aloha from Hawaii. So yeah, it's a big contrast. We're almost thinking, goodness, maybe we should have tried to explore a little farther north to get out of all of this tourist action. It's, as I said, it's so touristy, lots of people, but it's still exciting. We're in a good place. We can actually reach the beach by foot, like in just a matter of minutes, so we're not that far away, but it still feels like a big city. So in any case, we drove up from Honolulu, and there are 2 sites that we stopped at today. They were on our itinerary and I did not want to skip them. So we went to Pearl Harbor, and now we're at a plantation, a pineapple plantation. And I'll share some pictures if I can on Facebook later. So Pearl Harbor, as I'm sure many of you know, is an important site connected to the Second World War. And although my kids are young, they have yet to study the Second World War in high school. But do you remember my video on summer reading, and I recommended the I Survived series? So they did read that fictitious story. It was a fictitious survival story about a child who had survived the attack on Pearl Harbor. So they do have some awareness of what happened, but I'm hoping that some of the memories will stick with them when they do get to high school and study more world history and modern history. Then some of these memories will make more sense to them and will be more valuable. Hey Raul, good for you to join me. Aloha guys. I can share something interesting about visiting Pearl Harbor. It's one of those sites where, you don't smile a lot in the photos. It's very serious because you understand the importance of the site and what happened there. but so much time has passed that we can all process, you know, what those events were and what they mean to us today. And what's interesting is my grandfather fought in the Second World War, and my husband's grandfather fought in the Second World War. They're both veterans. So it's interesting that two young men back in the Second World War were fighting on the same side but different countries. Of course, my husband's grandfather was Russian, fighting at the time. It was the Soviet Union, and then my grandfather's American. And who would have known that two young men would survive the Second World War and their grandchildren would meet and get married? I find that interesting. What's also interesting, oh hey guys, for you guys just joining me, aloha from Oahu, and I'm telling you that I visited Pearl Harbor today. Pearl Harbor is on Oahu, one of the Hawaiian islands, and Oahu has the capital, Honolulu. So we flew into Honolulu yesterday, and today we visited Pearl Harbor. Another interesting thing is that my father survived the Second World War. He was a child in the Philippines, and he survived Japanese occupation. There's a lot that he saw and went through, his whole family. And then wouldn't you know that in college, in my freshman year, I had a roommate from Japan, and we became very close friends. At the end of that year, I went to Japan and spent a few weeks with her family, and they were so warm and gracious and welcoming. At the end of our college years, 4 years later, we graduated, and we had this garden party to celebrate, and our families came together, sat in a circle, and our fathers met for the first time. So her father also lived through the Second World War as a child. And it's amazing, I think, to see that these two men who survived such a horrible time in our world history, on opposite sides, they survived it, and their daughters grew up to meet and become friends. It was just, they met a second time later when I was pregnant with my daughter, and both men, both our fathers, were in the US, and they got to sit down at the table. Their common language was English, and they sat there and they chatted, I think, about golf or something. But I thought how wonderful it is that generations can heal and move on, and our generation, myself and my friend, you know, we're the daughters of those children of the Second World War. And so I think when I visit a place like Pearl Harbor, I respect what it means and what happened there, but I'm just happy that, you know, as a world and as individual people from different countries, we can just move on. We heal, we remember, but we move on with our lives in a positive way. So that makes me happy. It makes me feel more at peace. And speaking of peaceful, I am at a pineapple plantation. So we drove a little further north, and we decided to stop at this pineapple plantation. And inside is this gift shop with pineapple gifts and souvenirs everywhere. Everything is yellow. You can get pineapple candy, pineapple ice cream, pineapple t-shirts, pineapple everything. And I'm sitting in the garden right now, and it's just really beautiful and peaceful. I'm going to show you a little bit of what's going on. Excuse my finger. And I'll show you that the garden is very peaceful and very lovely. I saw my first papaya tree, and I saw banana trees. Let's see what kind of fruits are up there. You can tell me what kind of fruits those are. I don't know. I look for the signs. One sign told me I saw a papaya tree, and I saw these cute little bananas growing. Another interesting thing here in Hawaii is that you eat outside a lot. And I mentioned that I'm truly enjoying the presence of so many Japanese tourists here, because it means they cater to the Japanese, and that means that I get to eat so much Japanese food. We had more Japanese food for lunch. I'm so happy. My stomach is loving this trip with all the Japanese food. I had tempura. You can get unagi, which is io, so yummy, yummy. But anyways, as you eat outdoors here, you find so many animals. Here on Oahu, there are lots of birds around. They're getting hungry and they want to eat. On the Big Island, there were lots of stray cats. So we were in the presence of many cats as we ate. Let me see if I can walk a little bit here and there. See what else you can see. We saw some beautiful ponds before, small animals. There were these little animals that looked something like a ferret or a squirrel running around. That's where I've been sitting with my purse. What would you do if you had a little bit of free time in a place like this? Would you take a nap? Would you read a book? Would you live stream like me? So, as I said, I'm here on a pineapple plantation. Plantations, of course, are where big crops grow. You know, we can have pineapple plantations and sugar plantations. Maybe in the comments you can come up with other examples. What other kinds of plantations are out there? So I'm very happy that I've been able to show, or we've been able to show our children different things of cultural and maybe economic importance. We went on a ranch. On the Big Island, we were here on a pineapple plantation, and all these businesses are important, of course. They're a part of the local economy. So I find that interesting. As I said, I really want to step outside the resort and outside hotels and not just see what the tourists see, but start to see what makes, what is a part of this culture, the different parts, right? Hey there! Aloha guys, for those of you just joining me, I'm here on the Big Island of Oahu, and I drove up with my family. We landed in Honolulu yesterday. We took in all the sights of the city. It's big, it's a big city, big US city, lots of activity, lots of people. You know, the interesting thing about getting around is people giving you directions, or the GPS giving you directions, and all the signs have these Hawaiian names, and if you've never heard the Hawaiian language, it's very pretty, it's very musical, but they have these really long names often. There's like, okay, Kalakaua and Kamehameha, Poakalani, and yesterday they said, oh yeah, go to the fireworks, it's at Park. I'm like, it's a what a park? So I had the guy tell me a couple times so I could hear it clearly and repeat it. So we went to the Ala Moana. We went to the Ala Moana Legion Park last night to watch fireworks. So imagine getting directions when someone tells you, oh yeah, go down Kalakaua Boulevard, then go to Palakalani, then go to Kamakauea, or whatever. It's the names are so long, it takes a few seconds for to recognize what they're actually telling you. And when you read the signs, you sometimes don't have enough time to fully read it and pronounce it as you're driving along, so it's really funny. So the other thing I find really interesting in Hawaii is that all the license plates say Hawaii. It's so different from being on the mainland when you look at the license plates on the cars and you see all the different states that we have. But here in Hawaii, all the cars have a Hawaiian license plate. I find that very interesting. So I will share more photos on Facebook of Honolulu, hopefully Waikiki Beach, so you can get a sense of what the capital of Hawaii looks. Right now this is a very peaceful view of what I'm seeing here on Oahu, but of course what else would you expect on a plantation? Something peaceful and beautiful and lots of nature around me. So thank you for everyone joining me, and I hope to live stream again soon. And aloha guys from Oahu. Take care. Bye bye.